I'll preface this, with look, the reality is the vast majority of things that bring you the enjoyment or the most enjoyment are either free or cost very little money. So, so when you kind of get your head around that, and that actually most of what brings you joy doesn't cost any money or very little. And even when it does cost money, really understanding like what's the level of joy I'm going to get from this versus how much money it's going to cost me, right? So when you take traveling, right, most of the joy that comes from traveling is being on an adventure, being in an environment with a different culture, you know, different different just climate, yeah, meeting new people. All of those things, most of those things don't actually, isn't the thing that costs the money. So then if you realize that or recognize that, then you go, okay, well, how do I get the things that I want that's actually going to give me the joy while making sure that the cost associated with that is minimized? One of the easiest ways is go to a cheap country. Right? So, I traveled, I did like 3 gap years. So I traveled for 2 years before university and 1 year after university. I had no money. I look back and I'm like, I don't know how the hell I did that because I had basically no money, and that was for years, like, traveling constantly, like living, flying there, like, um, so it's ultimately just because I chose cheap places. And so I never went when I was younger to expensive places like Australia, Switzerland, or whatever. I spent most of the time in South America, Central America, East Asia. And then when you go there, when I was going there, I would just stay in hostels. It would cost like £2 a night to stay there. So like everything basically was free or cost very little, and back then flights were expensive. That was really the only thing that cost money. But once you were there, nothing. It's a lot harder to do that as you get older because you become a bit more set in your ways, which is why like traveling as young as possible is just so powerful because you can stay in a hostel for $2 a night and it'll be fine. It's chill.